I always wanted to be a teacher, and I always wanted to teach languages, and I wanted to be the manager of a school or an institution. Suddenly life shifted. Many other healers telling me that your purpose is to teach healing rather than just to teach language. Interesting, the transition happened so smoothly. I moved to Dubai and gradually just clients started to coming in. Although that teaching passion was still in me, I wanted to teach what I had learned. I need to teach something called life scripting. I love this.
Yeah, nice.
Our hair is a powerful metaphor for restoration and healing that we all need at certain points in our lives.
Welcome, Maria. Thank you so much finally joining me.
Thank you for having me, honey. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Leonard, and I'm a spiritual growth coach. I'm also the founder of Life Scripting, which is a manifestation and holistic healing modality.
I actually had a client not that long ago. She sat in my chair and we started talking about some things, and all of a sudden she said, I'm a life scripter.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I found that so fascinating because I know what life scripting is, but I've never heard life scripting.
Yes, so I wanted to create a technique, a modality that is not only focused only on energy or only on breath or only activating people's intuition or only focusing on the mind, having that more of a holistic format, and at the same time reminding people that they can manifest. So manifestation is part of life scripting. So people focus on an area of life and they discover what do they want to bring into their future and also in their now moment.
Maria is renowned expert in the field of energy healing and life scripting in Dubai. With years of experience and a deep understanding of the transformative power of energy, Maria has helped countless individuals embark on their journey to healing and self-discovery. Life scripters.
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
So my life scripters are basically those empowered human beings that have discovered their true potential. Some of them choose to do more energy work, others choose to do more breath work, others are focusing on just helping people to discover their unhealthy thoughts and reverse them into more healthier ones, guiding meditations. So currently life scripting has 4 different levels, and each level has these 4 principles involved. Now the underrated part of life scripting is space clearing, which is where Palo Santo is an example that comes in. Because I've noticed over the years that people focus on the energy of their own aura or focus on their mind and body, but they don't really focus on the space that they're in. Where are they staying? What kind of an environment are they in? The house, the office, the salon that they are in.
Yeah.
So that's part of life scripting as well.
So that's like that feng shui part?
Yes, yes. So being mindful and understanding if there is energetic blockages around and how to resolve them. There's always a remedy for everything. So it doesn't mean that there is a block that can be permanent.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind and keeping their energy clean and their space clean when they want to guide sessions.
I think that's everything. Home is your sanctuary. It's your safe space. So that makes total sense that it's so important to keep that clean as well, and that you're teaching people to do that.
Yes.
And I feel like in Middle Eastern tradition in general, that's something that we also do.
Yes, absolutely.
And
yeah, like frankincense, right?
Frankincense.
Like, I'm sure both our parents have done that.
Yes.
During like maybe on Sundays, and they would just open all the windows, you know?
Yeah.
Or we would like all the seasonal changes that we used to do, right?
Yeah.
So that was all intrinsic. They didn't actually need to study it, but unfortunately it's been
But it was
forgotten.
passed on.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
And back to what we talked about with you a bit earlier when I asked you, how did you get into healing in the first place? And you said you grew up with that.
I think healing was always part of my family's tradition because my parents used to both believe in it. We would go to different healers, also psychics, and from different parts of the world.
You grew up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that actually.
It was normal, right?
It was normal.
Yeah, both my parents loved those things and they never created any kind of obstacles for me to stop doing that.
But do you think that it is also a bit cultural, that some cultures are still more involved? Because I feel like we're living in this time that now there's happening this vibration where the whole earth, the whole world is getting higher consciousness, like getting to know these rituals, like everybody knows what sage is. But this is just something that has happened recently.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is more cultural where people have still been able to?
Actually, that's a good one. I never thought about it that way. But I do see that, I mean, that's the beauty of Dubai, right? We have different cultures and that blends in so well here. It's like a melting pot. So, for example, what I notice in the trainings that I give, when I'm teaching different formulas, let's say about space clearing, whether it's sage, Palo Santo, frankincense, which is called luban here in the UAE, right? People are more receptive to it and they realize that, yes, we all have that in our background and we need to honor that and we need to respect that. And it's just maybe modernized terms that is happening, but all cultures have it. And all cultures are innately driven to know these things and practice these things.
Yeah, you just feel like some cultures have forgotten them a bit more than some cultures.
Yeah, they've been so like maybe heavily, I call it left brain focused, like in a rat race that they're not being conscious of these things or think that they're maybe not valuable enough. Positive thing is like people are being reminded of that now.
Yeah. I remember the first time you came to my home to do one-on-one breath work, you were like, this is nice, but you have built yourself like you don't want no one else in here.
True.
And I had no idea. I remember you told me about the plants because obviously my room was full of plants.
And crystals.
And crystals. And after you told me that like it's not good to have like 3 plants next to my bedroom.
Or the imbalance of the sides of the bed, right?
Or imbalance of the sizes of the bed, like those little things. And I became more mindful of that because I thought like I'm so protected, but I think I protected too much.
Yes, exactly. And we end up cocooning ourselves, right?
Exactly.
And that is where we create different types of blocks because people think blocks are only negative.
Yeah.
But blocks can also be a form of we don't want to open up.
Too much protection.
Yes, too much protection.
Too much protection that no one can get in.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. You brought some of them when you came for your first breath work.
Yes.
That was one that really caught my eye because I usually tell people to have maybe one tumblestone with them. And I remember you came with your bag. You were on my right side. And I look around and I see this woman, obviously I don't know you, and she's picking up like these big rocks and just putting them around her. I was like, those are really nice.
Yeah, I think that was the stage when I was very deep in that. Because I think like what spiritual awakening or you go through this journey.
Absolutely.
Where you're like, first you strip everything out, you know, you're like, you go from one extreme to another extreme.
Absolutely.
And I think that was when I was on my other extreme and I really needed them because I do remember I was like, I don't care what they're going to think of me. I need them with me.
Yeah.
And I literally brought the big rocks, but at that time, I really needed them. Now they're just more there. I'm not that mindful of them.
You're not attached to them anymore.
Not attached to them anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like now I know more that the power is within me. And it's more like even when my clients ask me, what do you feel like about crystals? And I'm like, to be honest, they're not really serving me anymore. But I love them. And I think it's, again, for me, it's all about the intention.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I don't know if it's true or is it just a placebo effect.
No, well, I heard this really cool quote the other day that placebo effect is a scientific term for putting in the intention. So you actually use both terms.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I tell my clients that I don't know which one it is, but no matter what it is, it's for good.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the same thing when I have clients telling me like, oh, my hair is this, my hair is not growing, my hair is so thin.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
I don't care if it's coming from genetics. My mom has thin hair. Stop saying that.
Stop saying
and of
that.
course, that's normal, right?
It is.
Like you shouldn't because you're not
putting
affirming.
those mantras. And then I get them coming back and they're like, I'm like, wow, your hair's changed so much. And they're like, yeah, it's you. I'm like, it's not me. It's you because you've stopped saying those words and you stopped talking love into it.
You gave them the right tools. That's what
I
you did.
guess so. But again, like some people want to call it placebo effect. There might be, but it's working. That's what I've noticed in this. And I remember the first time that I thought we had an interaction is when you followed me. And I was like, wow, she followed me on Instagram. And then I received a message from you if I can cut your hair, and I was like, yes. And not to be too spiritual, when it comes with Maria, we also have fun with her hair. She was having her friend's wedding, and we were able to glam her up to the fullest. We did a nice updo with some hairs falling down her face, and she looked just so good. Yeah, that was one of my favorite looks we actually did for Maria.
When I met you, I hadn't cut my hair for easily 5 years.
You never told me this before.
Really?
No.
I hadn't done that because I've always had this difficulty going to hairdressers for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's a childhood thing. I always felt uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable because of what? Was it a fear of someone doing something that's not going to be nice?
Yes, either it could be something wrong or they're going to ruin my hair in some way. And I'm not someone who's done much with my hair. I mean, I'm still with the same color all my life. But I was so drawn to it, and I was like, no, the only person, and you're in Dubai, so there are so many salons, so many hairdressers. So who do I really need to go to? And I just intuitively said, I remember this lady. I spoke to her. She came to my breathwork session, and let me just contact her. And I came, and I'm so glad I did. Simona is a very dear friend. It's someone that I've met over the last few years. And what I love about her is her compassion, is her understanding, and how she helps people in her journey. We have a very deep bond. I believe we have a soul connection together. And I always enjoy having these deep conversations on spirituality, on our human experience of what we go through. What I love about her work is that she combines more of her intuition in what she does. She's not just someone working with the hair. She goes deeper into people's emotions, into their soul, and helps them feel really good about themselves.
Simona and Maria, distinct in their ways, share a common thread. They are both devoted to facilitating inner healing for those in search of self-discovery. Their dedication creates a unique bond, allowing them to communicate effortlessly and foster a positive relationship as they embark on a shared journey of spiritual restoration.
Yeah, I think like for me, it was an instant connection because it's been, this September, it's going to be around 4 years.
Yes.
And 4 years ago, I don't think spirituality was such a common topic.
No, it wasn't.
For me, why? Because we're quite different, which you have very different friends, circles, interests, music, all of that.
Yeah.
But what really made me feel like home is that whatever I was saying, you understood.
Yes.
And you also validated.
And vice versa. Like I was like, oh, I can speak to someone who is not necessarily a healer in that sense, you know, like not doing it as a career, but she understands all this and she values that. And that's where when you were saging my hair, I was like, see, she understands there is energy to this and she's honoring that. And that was so important for me.
I mean, I think hair, like even if I look back in my career, now I can say it's been 22 years, which is a very long time to do something. Looking back, and especially now that I just went home and I saw all the people that reminds me of who I was like 10, 15, 20 years ago, I think I've always had this connection with the hair that it's more than just hair.
Yes, I feel that,
For me, like, I don't know, but I feel like there's so much more to it that is like spiritual. And even if you go into different religion, different tribes, different times, like hair has always been like this thing that holds power.
Yeah, it's so sacred. You know, the whole body is sacred, yes, but like hair, it's like antennas, you know, and you have memories to it. So I think cutting hair, and you already do that, and you do that with your clients, consciously cutting someone's hair at a certain moon phase, it does bring in an added impact, you know, or using certain hairstyles and what goes on with the person's feature and how it will brighten up their maybe aura, their appearance. It's highly, highly valuable, which is why in many ancient practices, like I've seen that happen a lot in Hindu practices, even in Buddhist traditions where they shave the head. Now, that's a way of like sacrificing it and, you know, just cleansing from all past karma and doing that to be extremely humble and just allowing oneself to go on a deeper and a different spiritual path.
I do feel that a lot of times what I've, again, experienced in my 22 years of doing and talking and serving people is that it's so connected to their inner world.
Yes.
What they put in their, like the hair.
Yes.
And for me, it's so fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, because you see your clients moving like over the years and how their hair is changing because of the influence and the guidance that you're giving them. Like mine has shifted a lot, you know, since we cut it the first time. So when you're bringing in that energy and that intention, as you used before, then it's actually changing the person's overall energy and even helping them to maybe create and manifest a healthier and a better life for them.
Do you have any good tips of how to be in routine? For someone like me, for example, I'm self-employed. I've been working like this since I was 16 years old. So it's very hard to find a routine to stick to it. Like if you...
Well, you can choose either your morning or your evening routine. It doesn't have to be both. So if you are more of a night owl, then make sure that before you sleep, you have some kind of a practice. Like you're either meditating. And whenever I use meditation, I always imply most of the time to energy kind of healing meditation, which means it's guided. You're either visualizing or there's some kind of an energetic transference or transmission that is taking place, which is what we do in life scripting energy activations. And, you know, you love, you know, having your massage, you have your baths.
Yeah.
Water element is so important. Making sure that you've had to cleanse the body, because you see so many people every day 100%. As well. And they're opening up to you.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I actually did start saging people. What made me start the ritual of my hair saging? I have to protect myself. I have to protect the client, because I also work with 3-4 clients sometimes at the time. So jumping from one crown to another crown to a third crown to back, I don't want to be transiting these energies. This is what I believe in. So that's why I smudge the hair in the beginning to cleanse the space, start from the clean slate, remove all the negative, and then we install the light, the positive, the self-love, the self-acceptance.
You said something really important about what's mine and what's not mine. So that's also a good reflection to do before we sleep at night. So we say, whatever is mine, I just keep it, that it's healthy.
And then what's not mine,
whatever is not mine, I send
off.
it back. So that's how you cut your cords, that's how you keep your energy clean. It doesn't have to be a protection. Like we said, too much protection is also not good. But reminding ourselves that, is it mine or somebody else's? And always, always, you will either hear a name or have a feeling that, oh, this was, let's say, Maria's energy I just picked up. And okay, let's send it back to Maria. I don't need to pick that up from her. And I'll just retrieve my energy back to myself. So yeah, just focus on, I think everyone can have either a morning or an evening one, and they don't need to overwhelm themselves with it, because life is already happening a lot here. Do you notice that difference when your clients are coming in before and after a cut? What happens to them? Have you ever felt that connection?
Clients that have been coming to me now years as well. Now that I've lived in Dubai for 9 years, I've seen tremendous change in them, and acceptance and self-love that comes from that. And it's very, very giving as well, especially when people really love what is theirs and feel comfortable with it and confident, especially in this area, because I feel like also in Dubai, in the region with the Middle Eastern heritage, we have very strict beauty standards. And if you don't fit into that beauty standard, then you're not
considered beautiful.
Yes.
Right.
Where you see people trying to look something that they're not. And for me, it's always, I want to bring you out.
Yes, the uniqueness of each individual.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then when I do that, because sometimes they're very against it. They don't want to do it.
Right.
How does it feel to be an expat in Dubai for you?
I don't feel like an expat.
You feel like this is home?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing is because of the language. So when I was living in other countries, like Syria, for example, I did struggle with the language because I was mainly speaking in English. So I felt more like an alien living there, which I did for about 15 years. And then when I moved to Beirut,
Even though you do speak Arabic,
I do.
have heard. I was very surprised. I was like,
yes.
she speaks very well.
I do. But that took a lot of tutors and a lot of...
But you still felt like an alien living in...
Yes, because I couldn't express my emotions and my thoughts in Arabic. So I was more academic in Arabic rather than, thinking and feeling and talking with that. And in Dubai, at least that has made a huge difference. I speak in English, right? It feels that's the first language. And communicating with different cultures and different nationalities, all with that one language, makes me feel very safe, very comfortable. It's just a place of, if you are ambitious and you know what you want, it's going to help you out so easily.
Yeah.
I don't think that there are no opportunities here. I don't see it that way.
I think it's a new America, to be honest.
Yeah,
in a sense of like, not to compare it to US, but just in a concept of American dream.
Yes.
I feel like it's a Dubai dream nowadays.
It is.
Because it is true. Like if you have certain mentality and you have the passion and you're driven,
absolutely,
there's a lot of...
And in anything. It doesn't have to be only from one side of whether it's entertainment or it's business. Like you can see my type of work, which is in the spiritual healing work. It's booming a lot.
Yeah.
And there's so many places, so many people who do that here. What I love about Dubai is the diversity and the communication and connection with people. I've met so many amazing people here. And one thing that you end up realizing is that we are all really the same deep down, no matter where we come from. We all want to be loved. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. And this is what bridges us together as human beings and creates us unity together.
What is your vision for UAE? What do you pick up?
So for UAE would be having more of a balanced lifestyle, in a sense that I think the working days that have changed since 2022 of people working 4 days a week or 4.5 days, I think that's a huge step forward. And the fitness industry and the healing industry has expanded. So I can see that people who live in Dubai will have more holistic lifestyles rather than how it might have been before.
Even though that's not the image that the outside world has of Dubai.
That's exactly, they're not seeing the full truth, right? Because I do see that with people. They are doing that. They're working, they're ambitious, but they're still finding some form of a time to add that into their lifestyle. I think living in a safe environment, which it is, it's highly safe, it naturally helps you to bring in more energy and more clarity and focus on other things rather than just thinking about survival, which unfortunately other countries are. That's how people live, right? They're constantly in a survival mode. You're not necessarily in a survival mode here. Once you have that ambition, that passion, and then you end up emphasizing more about your hobbies and how you can be more into your wellness in your own way, whether it's sports, whether it's energy work, whether it's going hiking or just swimming. So I do see that there's going to be more of a balance in the next even 2-3 years.
Thank you so much for coming, Maria. Thank you for enlightening us, and thank you for your beautiful energy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Maria, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much for all the people that you have helped in the city to find a balance in their life, and I can't wait to become a life scripter.
Whether we're cutting our hair for a fresh start or restoring it to its former glory, renewal and healing play important roles in our lives.